If you've been on YouTube anytime in the past year, you've probably noticed a lot of videos trending talking about buying boring businesses and how you can make all sorts of money buying a simple HVAC company or plumbing company or car wash. And once you get it operationalized, it'll basically run itself, turn itself into a cash cow. But I'm here to tell you the truth about this. And at the end of this video, I will also touch on one of the businesses that is an excellent buy right now. It can be purchased at a reasonable price, has excellent financials, great margins. My name is Sara Sharp. I'm an attorney specializing in mergers and acquisitions, and I've been doing that for over a decade. I also help people buy and exit businesses, and I am the founder of Deal Academy, but more on that later. But before we get started, I want to clarify something because I am in no way trying to talk you out of buying these types of businesses. They are all excellent businesses to buy, but when someone presents them as trouble-free, recession-proof businesses that run themselves while you're on your yacht in the Mediterranean with collecting checks passively, I do have a problem with that because I talk to business owners every day exiting these types of businesses, and I will share the feedback that they give me as to why they're selling. And the truth may surprise you. The truth is that these businesses are like any other business, which means they're filled with problems and they're a pain in the ass to run. They have problems with cash flow, payroll, collections problems with employees, staffing, and 80% of the business owners I talk to are exiting because they've been doing it a handful of years and are burnt out and wanting to sell. I've talked to buyers on the side that approach me to help them acquire an HVAC company or other businesses with this preconceived notion that they're going to be able to ramp up marketing and passively manage it after they acquire it with zero experience in HVAC or home services space and think they're going to be successful. The truth is that these types of businesses are very people intensive, which means you have to create a company and a culture. And when you do that, you have people, which means you're going to inevitably have problems, have to create management systems in order for that to run effectively. So if you're thinking you can buy a business right off into the sunset with your millions, I urge you to reconsider because that is not the reality that I see or hear from business owners I talk to every single day. So first off, let's talk about why these businesses are not just passively managed cash cows that they are cracked up to be. In any example, I'm going to speak about HVAC or plumbing or any other home service business. These are things like pool cleaners or landscapers or anything that involves a person going into a customer's home. The biggest issue with these businesses is that they all require substantial overhead in the form of employees, which creates moving pieces and the need for management and systems. If you're going to have people calling in sick, requesting time off, people means you're going to be paying for health insurance, workman's compensation, general liability, short-term, long-term disability, life insurance, 401ks, not to mention you'll be constantly dealing with people asking for raises or feeling like they're underappreciated. Meanwhile, your margins get rated and you have to scale, which forces price raises, which then requires you to remain competitive in the market. In the case of businesses like car washes, you need to have people that are maintaining equipment, filling up the soap dispensers, cleaning up trash, dealing with customer service complaints, because you will have issues. Customer service is at the forefront of every business since people are the ones handing over their hard-earned dollars to wash their vehicles. Unfortunately, there's not an easy way out of these types of businesses. So if you're thinking this is an easy and simple to manage business, you should strongly reconsider because these are very complex businesses and businesses that require a lot of specialized licensing that can take years to acquire. That is why a lot of businesses I represent on the buy or acquisition side that are effective have operating businesses. They've created operationalized companies. They're basically professional management companies to manage the businesses they are acquiring. They have entire executive staff overseeing all aspects of marketing and accounting all the way down to customer service and human resources. These companies are professional managers and they know what it takes to run and then operationalize a business, which is why they're successful in competing in the marketplaces. But if you think you're just going to buy one of these companies as a small individual and be prepared to take on all of the problems of an acquisition when you buy, you might be surprised. Not to mention that any business employees are a little shaken up at first after an acquisition and nervous of what new owners are going to do. Are they going to fire everyone? Are they going to cut everyone's pay and benefits? There's a lot of unknowns acquisition, and you can be dealing with mutiny overnight after acquiring a business. You might have to float it for several months or years while you restabilize operations, which is okay if you're a professional management company. Obviously, you probably don't have to have this fear because you have an entire executive team behind you supporting you on the operation side. So this probably doesn't apply to you. For a one-man or a one-woman show trying to buy a company, these are all things you want to consider beforehand and be ready to bite off before you take the plunge and sign on the dotted SBA loan line. Now, if operating and managing a company doesn't scare you, then by all means take the plunge. And for more information on how you can work with us, there'll be a few links in the description below where we can help you with mergers and acquisitions, as well as with the Deal Academy, of course, which I'll talk about. But before we touch on that, if you've enjoyed this content so far, please make sure you smash and like that button for the algorithm, and consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't done so already. We put out weekly content on mergers and acquisitions, buying and selling businesses, and how to acquire accounting practices, which is one of the best kept secrets in the business world right now. So if you're interested in this type of content, subscribing is a great way that you can support the channel and also stay up to date with an actual licensed attorney and mergers and acquisition specialist that specializes on this topic and is doing deals every single day. The reason we are very active in the mergers and acquisition space and with all businesses right now, not just accounting practices, is because there's such a high interest rate. A lot of the money that was going into real estate as an investment has shifted away from the market because of residential real estate, and real estate in general isn't as profitable to cash flow if there's any debt on the property because market prices haven't adjusted yet. As a result, you can get a much better ROI through the acquisition of a business, which is why investors have shifted their focus to acquisitions, driving up the activity in a lot of the business sector. In a nutshell, the reason we help people buy and sell a lot of accounting practices is one, they have excellent financials and clean books, which makes sense because they're accounting practices. Two, they're limited licensing requirements if there's a firm limited to bookkeeping and no one acting in CPA, a test work capacity. And three, the most exciting, they have excellent margins. Sometimes 40%, and a very reasonable multiple they trade at. So we'll do a deep dive on this type of business in another video, and we'll make an entire course on this topic at Deal Academy that will be able to teach you to identify the best type of practice to buy, how to avoid common mistakes most people make when buying and selling these businesses, and how to inspect financials and operations before going under contract to ensure you're targeting the right business so that your acquisition turns into a profitable money-making venture and you don't end up buying a sinking ship. As mentioned earlier, there is a video popping up on the screen now that does a deep dive on the topic of accounting practices and why we have so many people entering this space to buy this business. So before you check that out, let me know what you think in the comment section below and what business questions you have. I'm always curious what projects people are working on and the questions they have. We created this channel to be a resource for entrepreneurs, so make sure you post your comments and questions below.